Hiya, darling. I hope that the tick-tock of our old clock isn't going to drown me out here, because I'm here to share another thing that you need to understand about your comparison, so ultimately you can cure it. So let me read a little excerpt from my book here. I'm going to deep dive into how this applies to you, okay? So, you don't have to have a close working knowledge of an individual's life and accomplishments for them to make you feel less than you are. Comparison avatars can be resonant or proximate, that is, someone who is in your real world who gets your comparison going. A comparison trigger or avatar can also be remote, someone you don't know and probably will never know, and yet this person triggers you and your comparison. So comparison triggers can be resonant and proximate, those that are kind of in our space, in our world, maybe even our families. They can also be remote. We can be triggered by people that we notice online or that we hear about at parties. There's more about this in the Comparison Cure, How to Be Less Them and More You. But I want to share with you some starting points which go into detail how they apply those to you in the book. The starting point is this: no matter which of those you feel like you relate to more, your comparison and whatever is triggering you is trying to teach you something. So let's say you're feeling envious of someone who is travelling a lot for work and you feel kind of really stuck to your desk at the moment, or like there isn't kind of much opportunity to expand your own horizons. Your comparison has zero to do with the air miles and the airport activities of that person, and has everything to do with the fact that you want to just that, expand your horizons and have a more dynamic and travel-filled kind of work life. So when it comes to the so what, it's like, what can you do in that moment and with that realization to either create that change in the place you're at the moment, or look somewhere else that's going to give you ultimately the transformation and that stimulus that you want. Because again, your situation has nothing to do with the air miles of that other person. Now let me break down the triggers or avatars and how this applies. If you are triggered by someone who is in your circle and in your life, one of the best things that you can do, and in NLP we call this observation and modelling, one of the best things you can do is look for other people in the wider world outside your circle, even that's friends of friends of friends, or people that might have a public profile, or people that you might know of on the internet, or people that might have biographies written about them from decades ago. It's looking for those examples of other people achieving what feels really good for you, what you want. And rather than getting hooked on the comparison of just being in the vicinity of that person when they are kind of intimate and resonant around you, is looking at a wider world and getting a bigger picture of all the different examples of people doing what you want to do in their own way, to give you that inspiration and even maybe give you some pointers and observations about how you can bring about that change in your life, okay? So if your comparison trigger is that resonant and proximate, someone that's in your space a lot, it's about making sure that you are bringing your head up, looking at what else is going on in the world, looking for different types of inspiration that can help power you forward. If your comparison is triggered more by people that are very much on the internet, like people you don't know, what's going to help you close the gap on what your version of success is, or close the gap, on you achieving your version of what you see them doing, being, experiencing. Again, get into this in here, darling, ain't no substitute for it. But if that someone actually isn't in your space, it's just someone in the world that triggers your comparison, one of the steps you can take is to look for examples of people achieving, being and doing what they are doing in your closer world. So whether that's colleagues, ex-pals, things you see on social media, is looking for the data of possibility. And again, in NLP, we call it modelling. There's lots written about this online if you want to go further and discover more. In the book, we break this down into how you can do that. So let's just say that you want to start a business, and you know, like a friend of your auntie started her own business, might be like a nail salon or something, could be anything. Take her out for a coffee, pick up the phone and say, could I ask you some questions? Because you know my auntie and you're in my world, and I just feel like you're on a path that I'm really inspired by, but I want to kind of find my own way. Make that call to reach out and connect with that data, connect with the example of the person doing what you're doing. So I hope this has helped. I'd be curious to know, which one are you when it comes to how or which type of comparison trigger gets your goat the most? Is it someone that's resonant and proximate in your life, or is it more kind of strange on the internet? It's the remoteness that really gets your comparison going. Do let me know. And I'd love to kind of like just get your view on it really. So let me know in the comments. And if this has whet your appetite, the Comparison Cure is available now, how to be less them and more you. And there's loads of information about how you can apply then the tools based on your insight to the questions I've just shared. All right, thanks a million. Be back with some more soon. Take care.